UConn just beat Seton Hall 84-48. And somehow the loudest conversation after the game isn't the score. It's Allie Ziebell's job title. Starter? Sixth woman? Here's the thing. In modern hoops, who starts is basically a pregame tradition. Who bends the defense is what wins you games. And on January 3rd, Ziebell didn't just hit threes. She changed the geometry of the floor.
Prime field!
Let's set the table. UConn is 15-0, #1 in the country, and Geno's got a rotation problem that coaches dream of having, because Ziebell is giving you starter-level gravity. She's at 45.1% from 3 on the season. But she's doing it in a role that might be even more valuable. The leverage role. Ask yourself, what's scarier for an opponent? Ziebell starting the game? Or Ziebell checking in the moment your defense finally thinks it can load up on Sarah Strong and Azzi Fudd? Because that's the real argument, not status, optimization. And Seton Hall was the perfect case study, because this game didn't start like a blowout. It started like a warning. Early on, UConn was ice cold, missed 13 of their first 17 shots. Seton Hall packed the paint, dared UConn to execute cleanly in the half court, and when it was 11-11 late in the first, the Pirates ripped off a 9-0 run. Now pause right there. That's the moment. That's the are we actually in a game moment. And for an undefeated team, that's a stress test. Do you panic or do you deploy the antidote? Enter Allie Ziebell. Because the second she hits the floor doesn't just space, it stretches. Seton Hall can't play the same casino defense anymore. You can't sag. You can't overhelp. You can't treat the weak side like a vacation spot. And right on cue, UConn responds with an 8-0 run to close the quarter and take control. Ziebell hits a big 3 in that swing, and it's more than points. It's a message. Your help defense just got expensive. That's the stabilizer function. Not nice bench scoring, not spark. It's your defense can't breathe the same way when she's out there. Okay, halftime. UConn's up 38-18. Comfortable, no. But not the type of lead that guarantees the game is dead. Then the third quarter happens. UConn detonates a 20-0 run. They win the period 29-8, and this wasn't random hot shooting. This was a system crash on Seton Hall's side caused by UConn's pressure. The numbers are brutal. 32 turnovers forced, turned into 35 points off turnovers. KK Arnold comes back with the mask and immediately reminds everyone what she is. A chaos engine. 5 steals. Sarah Strong adds 4 steals. This became a possession-ending machine. And here's where Ziebell becomes the perfect weapon in the perfect ecosystem. When UConn's defense creates chaos, most teams sprint back to the rim to stop layups. That's normal. That's instinct. But Ziebell's instinct is different. She's sprinting to the deep corners and wings, where panic defense makes the worst choices. So the defense has to pick its poison in real time. Do we collapse to stop the ball or to stay attached to the shooter? Because if you collapse, that kick out is a dagger. And on this night, Ziebell goes 4 of 6 from 3, with 9 of her 12 points coming in the second half, lining up perfectly with the stretch where the lead goes from safe to unrecoverable. This is why the sixth woman argument has teeth. She's not just scoring, she's maximizing the value of the pressure unit. Arnold and Strong force the error. Fudd pushes the advantage. Ziebell turns the scramble into math. So now we get to the big question. If she's this deadly, why not start her? Because starting Ziebell is the simple idea, and keeping her as the bench destabilizer is the strategic idea. Let's talk balance. Against Seton Hall, UConn's bench scores 16 total points. And Ziebell has 12 of them. Read that again. That means she's not bench scoring. She's basically the bench offense. So if she starts, who becomes the microwave when the starters sit? Who keeps the offense from having those dead stretches when legs get heavy and the rhythm gets weird? And then there's identity. The starting group's tone setter is pressure. And KK Arnold is the tip of the spear. You saw what her disruption did. It fueled the run that ended the game. Ziebell can make plays. She had 2 steals and a block, but her elite value is different. Arnold destabilizes the ball. Ziebell destabilizes the coverage. Now here's the modern twist that people forget. The starting 5 isn't always the most important 5. The most important 5 is the closing 5, and that changes by matchup. Needs stops? Arnold's on the floor. Needs spacing to break a zone or punish help. Ziebell can close. Keeping her as the reserve weapon gives Geno the counterpunch. And with players returning, like Caroline Ducharme back in the mix, having multiple bench options lets UConn ride the hot hand without breaking the structure. That's the hidden advantage, flexibility without losing firepower. So the Seton Hall win wasn't an audition for Ziebell to become a starter. It was a blueprint for why she might be most lethal as the kinetic catalyst off the bench. UConn didn't just win. They showed how their pressure creates chaos, and how Ziebell turns that chaos into instant separation. Now I'm throwing it to you. Should Geno start Allie Ziebell to prevent slow starts? Or keep her as the six-woman hammer that breaks the game open when defenses first crack? Drop your take in the comments and tell me which lineup you trust most in a tight March-style game.
Prime Field!